Hi, everybody. Welcome to Sunday Night Live. I can't believe we are well into October now, and here we are. It's beautiful fall weather over here outside. I hope that things are not too bad wherever you are. And for those of you who have been through a lot down in the south there, our thoughts and prayers are with you. Probably you're not listening to this because you don't have internet. I hear many of you don't, but maybe you'll see the replay and know that we're all thinking about you guys down there. My name is Anita. If this is your first time here, I've been doing low carb, then keto, then carnivore for over 10 years now. I've lost 145 pounds and I'm still working on it. I'm still on the journey. I don't think this journey is ever going to end. Even when I do hit that magical goal weight number, I will still be on this journey. There's always things to heal. And for that reason, this week, well, a few days ago, I went lion diet on the first, and I'm going to be talking about that a lot tonight, and as well as answering questions and things. A couple of housekeeping items first. Want to welcome our wonderful, beautiful moderators, Bonnie and Melissa. They are in the live chat. They are answering questions, greeting people, providing links, that sort of thing. And I want to let you know that tonight we do have a giveaway. It is a box of Watermelon Element. All you have to do to be entered into the draw is put the word salty into the comments. It can be caps, it can be small case letters, whatever you prefer. And the program that we use, the giveaway tool, only grabs one entry per person. It knows if you've put in two and it ignores your second one. So save your typing to ask questions or greet your fellow live chatters out there. There I'm seeing all the salties come up now. So awesome. We're going to get some entries for that. So let's talk about, I'm going to open up with my first week on Lion Diet. I know that a couple of you that are in this live chat, Yvonne in particular, I just saw your name fly by, is also doing Lion Diet. So today is my day 6, I guess, because it's October 6th today. And when I say lion diet, I mean it. I'm not drinking coffee. I'm not having dairy or cheese. I'm, just hanging in there doing ruminant meats only, salt and water. Nothing else other than ruminant, salt, and water have passed these lips for a whole week. So I'm feeling pretty good. The first day, that was the first day I quit the decaf. So I started a week before the end of September. The last week of September, I switched from regular caffeinated coffee to decaf. And that, just to sort of take the edge off for when I was going to actually quit the whole thing. So October 1st, no decaf. And the first day was very hard. Drinking a cold glass of water was not very satisfying first thing in the morning. Now I am drinking beef broth in the morning instead of coffee, and I'm finding it quite satisfying. I'm actually surprised to even say that. So far so good. I'm just gonna pull up a image here so that you can see what kind of food I've been eating. I feel like I am eating like a queen there. So this week so far, one of my favorite things is steak bites. That's in the bottom left corner by the ferocious little lion. I I love steak bites, and I usually buy the cheaper steak for that, the like chuck, or here in Canada it's called blade steak. And I cut it up. I buy the fattiest one they have, in the counter, and I cut it up into cubes and air fry it for 5 minutes, and you're done. And I can eat like a pound of those things. The other one of my other favorites, the top left, is sirloin cap. I get those from Costco, also known as picanha. The other thing that has really helped me this week is broth and soup. It's kind of filling. So I'm on my second batch. I made a huge batch of beef broth on the first day. And so I've been using that for my coffee. I also use it for soup. And that lasted 3 or 4 days. And then I've now made another batch of beef bone broth this time rather than just the meat broth. And it's so easy to have that first thing in the morning, or also to chop up some leftover meat and make a soup out of it. Burgers is another thing that I like to have, like just hamburger meat is. I mean, I could put some in the air fryer and just air fry it and let it get all crispy. Before Lion Diet, I would add butter to that. So now I'm just I'm not, because butter is dairy, and I'm going to do this for 30 days. I may bring butter back. I may bring, other things back. But doing it the prescribed way for the 30 days and seeing how it go. So I want to just say why I'm doing this. It is because I want to get to I'm trying to reach another level of combating the inflammation. So as a result of all of the sardines and seafood I've eaten over the last year, I was able to cancel my knee surgery last week when they called to say, okay, we're going to do the next step. And I said, well, thank you for everything, but I decided not to go ahead with it. And it was a bit of a scary moment because I feel it's like being without a safety net. This is the real thing. Now I'm on my own. No one's coming to rescue me, and it's up to me to do the best I can for my knee. And when I saw Christina Mathewson doing the Lion Diet for the last few weeks, I was really inspired by her. And she talked about some of the things that, even though she had already lost 100 pounds on carnivore, and even though she, had some success there, like that's really good success, she still felt she had things to heal. And that's where I am too. I still feel like, okay, there's got to be more inflammation, that I can work on. And I just felt that just doing this strict elimination diet that I feel that's how I feel about the Lion Diet, that it is an elimination diet. I don't see myself being on it forever, although I never say never. We'll see how I feel at the end of the 30 days. She's still going with hers. So I just feel like I need to do everything I can, everything within my power to address the inflammation and make sure I'm doing the best I can for my knee and, some other areas where, I'm 66 years old. And so sometimes these aches and pains come up. And it's, yeah. So that is my main motivation. If I lose a few pounds on the way or get some body recomp on the way, some inches gone, I will be overjoyed with that. And that would be much appreciated. But, it's, we'll see what happens. And I'm feeling really good now, now that I'm looking at the first, week done. I did feel a little foggy those first couple of days, that's probably mostly the coffee thing more than anything else. I do miss being able to take a bite of butter here and there. There's a few things but I haven't dwelled on it. I made meat chips. I love meat chips. I made them in the dehydrator. I had a couple of moments where I felt like, oh, I really need something. And one or two of those chips will do it. So they've been kind of a bridge for me this week. And also, a carnivore bar came in handy. I usually just eat half of a carnivore bar if I'm not having, because to me it's a whole meal, those bars. So I got into a real situation where I just really felt like I needed something and it was still a couple hours to the meal. I just ate half a bar, and that was more than enough to just tide me over. So I felt really good. And so those are the sorts of things I'm reaching for. Whereas in the past, it might have been boiled eggs or bacon or something like that. It's meat. Oh, and there was one time where I ate 2 ounces of cold beef cheeks. So you're hungry when you're willing to eat 2 ounces of cold beef cheeks. As something to tide you over till the next meal. So I'm still adjusting to eating 2 meals a day and adjusting to, okay, well, how much do I need to eat to feel full until that next meal so that I don't have to snack? So I'm working on this. I mean, obviously, if I'm, very, very hungry in between meals, I need to eat more at that first meal. And I did have one really good day where I ate a 1 pound ribeye that I had found in the back of my freezer. That thing was huge. I've never been able to eat 1 pound in one sitting. I usually get to about 10 to 12 ounces, and I hit that wall. I ate the whole pound. I was quite proud of myself for doing that. And for the second meal, I mean, I lasted until the second meal on that day, and I had a light meal that evening because it just satisfied me so much. So there's new things I'm learning as I'm doing this already, and it's only been a week, so I'm looking forward to this second week. And if you guys have any questions about this or about anything else, then please put them in the comments. No, I see there are a few already starting to come in. So I'm just going to remind you guys to put, because I know that some people have just arrived. This is our giveaway today. Put in the word salty. So not salt, but salty, and can be capitalized or not. And we will make that draw towards right near the end of the hour. So I'm going to go over to the questions now and see how we're doing in there. Let's see, Joe Carter. I live, hunt, and fish in Alaska. How much shrimp can I safely eat in a week? How much shrimp can you catch in a week? I would say, eat all of it. So I don't see any problem. I mean, I assume you're catching it. It's not farmed shrimp. Farmed shrimp, could have antibiotics or anything like that. But if you're out there in the wild catching that shrimp, honestly, I don't see a downside to that. And I hope you're getting some fat in, because shrimp, of course, are very lean, super lean. So you want to make sure you're getting some fat, but you can safely eat your fill of that shrimp as far as anything I've ever read or looked at. I certainly do eat a lot of shrimp, not this month because I'm on Lion Diet, but shrimp has always been one of my favorites. So enjoy. And lucky you that you get to, fish and hunt for your own food. That's amazing. Sing it. You've mentioned how you failed, started over, and failed, but started over. Did you beat yourself up? How did you learn to not beat yourself up and continue to success? That is a very good question, because beating yourself up does not lead to success. It leads to, for me, it led me to more failure. It was like a vicious cycle. I would start something, fail, beat myself up, just, think about how, I had such, the problem was me. It was always my failure, just berating myself, how could you do that? It was terrible. It was terrible. And then that, not only does that cause me to eat more. It also causes more stress, and your cortisol levels go up, and it's just a terrible vicious cycle. And so somewhere along the line, I started to try to reframe any failures that I had. I tried to reframe them as learning opportunities, and just looking at them as things like, okay, well, now I know what not to do. Uh, and it's not, I'm not going to say it was easy, because it took me a long time. I mean, this has been, as I said right out at the outset of this live stream tonight, I've been doing this for 10 years plus. And that first year, I had some success fairly quickly, because I went from eating the standard American diet to eating low carb, and quite a bit of weight just dropped off. And I was younger too. It was before I went in, it was premenopausal. I was, I don't know, 50 or something, 50, in my low 50s. And so I hadn't hit menopause yet. It was just easier. And then, you know, things got harder, and I would have issues would come up, and stress would come up at work. There was always some reason to waver. There was, when my dad died, that was in 2017. That was my last. When my dad died, that was my last big rebound and failure. I took it hard, and I gained probably 30 to 40 pounds back. I had lost about 80 at that point, 80 to 90. And so it was quite a bit to gain back. And then I had to take care of my mom when he died. And there was something about taking care of my mom that made me focus on my health, because that was when I got the vision of what my future was going to look like. Because if you are a senior, well, I'm a senior now, but my mom was a real senior. If you're in your 80s, and you're, as overweight as my mom was, and as overweight as I was, your future is bleak. It was awful trying to help and caregive a woman who was over 100 pounds overweight herself, and who had all these comorbidities, all she had all the health problems, and the weight, and just the loss of dignity at every turn for her, and like falling down, and having, to call the fire department every time, 3 men to get her up off the ground, that sort of thing. It was horrible. And I saw my future there. And so I would say from about 2012 to 2017, it was all about the diet. It was all about counting things. I never tried to fix anything else in my life. It was just strictly, white knuckling, being low carb. I was not doing it for a reason. And so I think, I guess this is sort of a long way to tell you, it's really important to know why you're doing it, and to just embrace what you're doing for yourself. Because if you're like, in the beginning, it was like, well, I need to lose the weight. And I mean, I needed to lose the weight my entire life, but it was never enough. It took envisioning what my years, what I was coming into in my elder years, not being able to get around on my own, having my kids, having to help me out of a chair, having my kids having to help me wipe myself, stuff like that. I don't want anything to do with that. I don't want to do that. And my plan is to stay independent until the day I drop dead. and that's what I want. That is my fervent wish. And that is what I cling to. And that why is really important to me. And I think about it every day. And I think I think we need a strong why. And I don't beat myself up anymore. If I fail, if I mean, and I'm not certainly not perfect. I have stumbled since that 2017, 2018 revelation. I definitely have had little stumbles, but I'm able to then reconnect with why I'm doing this, and this is about my health now. This is not about having to follow a certain diet. This is the way I'm going to live for the rest of my life, and I am loving that and embracing that, and I think I often hear people who are going, "Oh yeah, I'm not allowed to have that, or I have to eat that way, or my doctor wants me to lose X amount of weight." It just it has to come from within you. So I would encourage everybody to do a little bit of writing about their why. Write it down, and really dig deep and think about these things. I'm sorry I took so long to answer that. Carmen, hi Carmen. What are you doing for fat? Well, I'm eating, the fattiest meats out there. I mean, you saw some of those pictures. I've also this week eaten oxtails and the soup. I keep all the fat that cooks off the meat. I'm eating it. Yeah, I'm definitely getting enough fat. I seem to be coming in at around 70%. Now, if I was able to eat pork belly, it would be a little bit higher. But I'm like, I think tomorrow or the next, I've got some beef shanks that are very fatty that I've taken out of the freezer that I'm either going to eat tomorrow or the next day. Um, the fatty steak bites. I when I go to the store, I mean, right now I'm shopping from my freezer, but when I went to the store and bought what was in my freezer and put those things in my freezer, they were the fattiest pieces I could find. And so that's where I'm getting my fat from. And it's working out to about 70%. As for fat sources, I generally don't eat lean meat anyways, but if I did, I would add tallow. That would be my major fat source right now. And I do have some, last summer when I cooked a huge brisket, I've got about 2 or 3 pounds of brisket trimmings that I'm going to have some for dinner tonight in the air fryer. So that kind of thing. Fat trimmings are really good, and you can get them from the butcher. Um, and lamb, I found some really fatty lamb yesterday at the specialty butcher shop near here. So that's what I use. Thanks for the question. Evelyn, I feel so much better on the lion diet and I lost 2 pounds in 1 week. I think I will keep going on it. Yeah, I feel really good too. I mean, in spite of giving up the coffee and having those tricky days, I'm now feeling, the other side of that. And I just I feel like I have quite a bit of energy, and I'm very excited. I'm very excited to finish through this month. Bobby, are you tracking this month while you were doing Lion? If so, what do your macros look like? Yeah, I thought at first that I wasn't going to track. I wanted to kind of eat intuitively, and I'm still, that's my focus, is to try to eat intuitively this month. But then I thought, okay, but it would be useful to track. And so for the last 2 or 3 days, I have tracked, but I'm not doing it like ahead of time where I'm planning, and trying to fit a certain set of macros. I eat what I want first, and then I'm updating that either at the end of the day or the next morning. I take a picture of everything I eat so that I don't forget. I do that on my phone, and then I'm able to update my chronometer with what I had, and it is turning out to be about 70% fat. I seem to be hitting, quite a bit of protein, like say 120 to 160-ish grams of protein as well. And so I am ending up very close to my TDEE, which is about 1,850 calories a day. So I feel like I'm, in that right area. So it'll be interesting to see. Melissa, Is this the most restrictive diet you have done? How does it compare to a sardine fast or an egg fast? Well, a sardine fast is pretty restrictive because it's just cans of sardines. And at least with the lion diet, I can have hamburgers, or I can have a steak, or I can make some beef stew. I can have different textures and different selections. So in that respect, it definitely feels less restrictive than a sardine challenge. Egg fast, yeah, about the same, because egg fast, the problem with egg fast is, and I'm glad it's only 3 to 5 days. Everything's the same color. Everything is made out of eggs, and so that can get monotonous after 5 days. I can see myself, doing this for this 30 days. I can see myself afterwards maybe being predominantly lion and adding the odd thing here and there if I want pork belly once a week or something like that. I can see later, but I'm not having any difficulty with with this feeling restrictive at the moment, other than those few moments where like I reach for the butter and then I go, oh no, I'm not, no butter, no butter. So try, I've put that all in the freezer for now. But I would say the most restrictive diet I've ever done was a grapefruit and egg diet that my mom and I went on back in the 70s. That was restrictive. Oh my goodness. This you feel completely satisfied. I mean, I'm never hungry. I always feel satisfied, but not like stuffed or anything. I just feel really good. I feel like, okay, I can do things, I'm not thinking about food. I mean, food is quiet in my head. Thanks for that question. Peggy, due to an illness, I have been doing the lion diet since January 23. Wow. I tried introducing pork, eggs, sausage, but decided to go back to lion in September. Yeah, I that could happen. That can definitely happen when you are doing something and you feel so good, and then you introduce something like pork or chicken. I never feel great on chicken. Pork I'm okay with, but I never feel great on chicken. Sausage is definitely a challenge for me. I usually end up getting heartburn, so I have to dilute it with other meat. I can't. I find it it's too much. There's something about sausage. It. Yeah. I mean, if you can stick to lion, it's probably the least inflammatory way to eat. And because of the omega 6s that can be in sausage, like pork and chicken, sausage, those sorts of things, it probably, I mean, it's probably a great idea if you're able to stick to lion diet and maybe just have something once in a while. Eggs, it could be like I would maybe try just egg yolks. Egg yolks are way easier for people to tolerate than the whole egg. It's usually the egg white that causes a problem for many people who have issues with the eggs. So I don't know if there's a downside to staying on lion other than if it becomes monotonous for you. But if you're feeling really good, then I think that's a good thing. Thanks for the question. Yvonne, how do you get enough fat on the meat? I get constipated by beef only, even the fattier cuts, and I don't like eating tallow. Love it whipped on my skin though. Yeah, I'm using that whipped tallow from Serena at Carnivore Revolution. I'm just loving that. I think you can eat it too, but I don't want to eat it. I would like the tallow. Yeah, tallow bites. That's a good idea. I'm gonna make myself some tallow bites. I forgot about that. I don't get constipated by the beef only. I do, try to pick out the fattiest cuts I can find. brisket and the chuck roast and things like that. So yeah, it hasn't been a problem for me yet. So if you're able to maybe pour the fat over, like your cooking fat over top of the meat, that might help. And are you trying to maybe get to a certain fat percentage? I don't I don't think it is too bad if we go a little bit lower for a day or something. I feel like on this lion diet, I think trying to stick to the higher fat is where I need to stick to. Um, so yeah, I mean, you can also let me see. I'm trying to think of what other kinds of fats. Yeah, I think tallow is the only one that comes to mind, unless you have other animals that you can get from the butcher. I'm lucky. I have a specialty butcher store. It's a bit of a drive, but I did make it there yesterday, and they have lamb fat and other things like that as well. Okay, thanks for the question. Hi, Cheryl. I did the lion diet for 2 weeks. Don't think I gave it enough time. We'll try again. Yeah, I mean, it is worth a try to try that again. I think the first 2 weeks probably could be the worst, and so if you can get to the other side of that, you'd probably be feeling better. So yeah, let me know if you're going to try it again. Rebecca, hi. I love your videos, demeanor, and attitude. Thank you. That's so kind of you. Okay. Patricia, are you still eating sardines or little fish for the omega 3s? So I haven't had any this week. I mean, I ate a lot of them the day before. Now, I have said that if I'm starting to feel any pain in my knee or inflammation, that I will open a can of sardines. This is not a religion to me. I know that there are some people out there who are just tied into a certain way of eating and a certain, dogma about it, I might even say. But as long as I am feeling fantastic and my knee is not bothering me, I'll keep doing what I'm doing. One thing that I am doing to make sure I keep my omega 3 levels up is the lamb. So I am trying to have some lamb almost every day. And I went to the specialty butcher yesterday. I found lamb picanha, a lamb breast. I have a lamb shoulder in my freezer that I'm going to make. And I have I made a rack of lamb a couple of days ago, and the prices are all over the place. The lamb shoulder is probably the cheapest way to go, and it's really fatty, and I'm gonna love it. The lamb rack was quite pricey, and the lamb picanha was a little on the pricey end, but it's grass fed, and so I feel that that's a good way for me to get my omega 3s to tide me over. But I am totally willing to open up a can of sardines if I feel the need or the desire. That's the only thing. I'm not, there's no reason for me to eat any of the other things, but I will do what I have to do to protect my knee. And so yeah. We'll wait and see what happens in this next week. Cheryl, where do you get the carnivore bars? I will be traveling to visit family, and we all know how supportive family can be. So I'd like to be prepared. Sadly, they stopped shipping to Canada. I do have a friend that, let's just say a contact that sends them to me. And so I'm lucky that way. But if you can find someone in the States who would be willing to order them and send them to you, that is your best bet. They are trying to work out the shipping, the global shipping. I think the problem is because they're basically meat, fat, and salt. I think they ran into some border problems or something with some of their shipments. And so now they're trying to find a solution. But right now, Yeah, they're not shipping to Canada. Abstract land. You mentioned a few weeks ago that CGM monitors we can get in BC without prescriptions. Can you share what type you are wearing and how to find more info? So, the only one that I've been able to find is the Libra 2 Freestyle. It's available on Amazon Canada, and that's where I got mine. I just ordered it, it came, I loaded up the app, and I tracked for 2 weeks. I might order another one just to try it again, maybe next month or something, and do a video on it. But I hope that we can have more options here. And yeah, I didn't need a prescription. It was really cool. I learned all kinds of things about what affected me and what didn't. And surprisingly, the thing that scared the heck out of me that affected me a lot was stress. uh, my blood glucose went up 30, 40 points on a really stressful day that I had at work. And it stayed there for hours. And I think like I was not aware that I was so stressed out. At some level I knew I was stressed out, but I usually just brush that. Oh yeah, it's been just such a stressful day at work, not knowing what it actually is doing inside of us. So if you're already insulin resistant and you're having stress, like day after day of stress, you probably are going to struggle with this, and this is why it's hard to lose weight. And so, you know I think everybody should be allowed to have a CGM at low cost to figure these things out about themselves so that they can do something and save our medical systems, which are spending so much money on everything. We could save a fortune just by allowing everybody to have access to a CGM without a prescription at a lower cost. Like people would learn stuff about themselves and about what affects them to prevent future disease and future medical costs. Don't get me started. You got me started. What is the hardest part of the lion diet for you thus far? Uh, well, so far, I guess I have to say it's the coffee and the butter. And the coffee, I mean, here I am. It's tomorrow will be day 7, and I'm actually feeling okay. I'm feeling okay without having the coffee and the butter. I'm feeling okay on both those things. But I did struggle. I struggled with the idea of it for the longest time. You don't know how long I've been thinking about doing the lion diet for 30 days, probably 6 months or more. But it was the coffee that was the barrier. It was like, oh, what's the point in doing it? I can't give up coffee. I mean, perhaps I could have just done it and kept the coffee back then, but I'm glad that I waited until I was ready to do it all. And so I feel really good about that. And I'm, my intention is to make it the 30 days, and I don't know what will happen after that, what I will allow back and what I won't. But yeah, it was those two things. I don't struggle with the meat only thing, because I've been doing carnivore for 3 years now. And at first I was making a lot of carnivore recipes, and I still do on occasion. But now the majority of my meals are meat on a plate, and it never gets old. I mean, you put a good steak on my plate and it never gets old. You put a hamburger on my plate with a pat of butter, that never gets old. So I mean, I feel like I can just eat meat. Probably I'm predicting now that the butter will be the first thing to come back, and maybe not as much, but some will definitely come back. Great question, though. Thank you. Does anyone know if we can get CGM monitors without a prescription in the US? Yes, you can. Bonnie has done it, our moderator, and Melissa is doing it as well. Yeah, so I think you can. So it's that Stello. and perhaps Bonnie can put a link in the live chat for those of you who are wanting that. I don't even know how to pronounce that name, so I'm just going to call you T. I've just joined this session, but I'm not sure what is the lion diet. Is there a big difference between regular carnivore and lion? Yeah, so we have covered that. So we covered it extensively last week. I had Christina Mathewson on this live stream, and she answered a lot of questions about lion diet because she's been doing it for a few weeks now. Basically, it is ruminant meat, water, and salt, whereas regular carnivore, you can have the variety of meats. The pork, the chicken, the shrimp, dairy, cheese, cream, all those things are all on. They're all carnivore. They're all animal-based products. But lion diet is ruminants only, so that's beef, lamb, elk, deer, moose, that sort of any herbivore that's walking around grazing on grass. Those are usually the ruminants. Vikings 9401. Compare how you feel now with the lion diet to when eating just seafood. Well, I've never eaten just seafood other than when I've done the 3-day sardine challenge. And I do understand that there are some people out there. Dr. Boz had a woman on her show who had done 70 days or 90 days sardines. I would definitely choose the lion over that, just because I just feel, I think I feel more satisfied. I think the only reason I can get through 3 days of only eating sardines is because I know it's over in 3 days. Now, when I was, after I do a sardine challenge or after I did my first one, I made sure that I included lots of sardines in my carnivore diet. So it wouldn't be unusual for me to have a steak with a can of sardines on the side. So that's how I kind of went after that. Doodle Girl 62, looking lovely. Thank you. Way to go on your first week of lion. Thank you. Have you noticed any decrease in inflammation after this first week? Well, it's hard to tell, but I'm feeling really good about the fact that I haven't had any knee pain. And I was sort of worried about that. I thought, because I purposely kept eating sardines and salmon and things like that. And so I was fully prepared that by now I would have eaten a couple of cans of sardines, and I haven't felt the need. So yeah, I think I'm doing good. I think I'm doing good. Debbie, how long did it take you to lose the first 100 pounds? Oh boy. Well, when I was working on the first 100 pounds, I had a lot of up and down. Because back then I was only focusing on the food, and I was only focusing on diet. I had the diet mentality still. It was just about counting the macros, whatever fit in my macros. I didn't care. Hand me those keto peanut butter cups, please. Like I didn't care what I ate, so I wasn't looking for health. I was looking for weight loss, and that's what my focus was. And I would eat those keto treats, and before I knew it, I was eating something that wasn't a keto treat. It was the real thing. And so my first few years was a lot of that, a lot of struggling with that. So it actually took me probably 5 years to lose 100 pounds, I would say. So it was in 2017. I think I had pretty much almost got to the 100 pounds when my dad passed away, and then I had a rebound, and then I had to lose that again. So it takes time, and I was a very damaged person when I started on this journey, not just physically, but emotionally. Everything. Like I'm having to work on a lot of things. It's not just about the food I have discovered over this time. So Thanks for the question. D. Lee, does anyone know about how long one can leave bacon fat with the bits in the fridge? Same with beef fat with the bits. Thank you. That's a good question. I leave it for quite a while, but you do have to keep an eye on it. So maybe somebody has a definitive answer. Luigia, can I do it with not giving up my coffee? That is entirely up to you, Luigia. You know me. You're in my group. You know that I am not the carnivore police. I am not the lion diet police. I, you do what you need to do, and good luck. I wish you the best, and I can't make that decision for you. Uh, but if that's what you want to do, give it a try. You just never know, right? Rhonda, I'm having trouble with muscle spasms. Do you think it may be electrolytes? It could be. I don't know if you're new or if you're trying something different these days. Sometimes even little changes can spark an electrolyte crisis or change in weather or exercise levels. But yeah, it could be. So maybe try some and see how you do there. T, is the purpose of the lion diet weight loss or inflammation, health, pain relief? If the latter, how soon before you feel the benefit? Well, for me, I'm doing it for health reasons and lowering inflammation. Uh, I imagine there could potentially be some lion or some weight loss on the lion diet. I would say if anyone's looking for quick weight loss, that lion diet and carnivore are probably not your path. But if you're looking to heal your body from the inside out and get the weight loss you need eventually, that's where I would go. I don't know how soon before I feel the benefit. I feel like I'm already feeling the benefit in many ways. As I've mentioned or alluded to already. But thanks for the question. Claudia, which animal fat lasts better out of the fridge if not in cold weather? Tallow, lard, or schmaltz? I'm gonna go with tallow. I think like I've kept jars of tallow at the side of the stove and haven't had any problems, but just a small jar. Don't keep a tub of it there. Usually if I render my own tallow, I put it into small jars, put it in the fridge, and then I keep one jar on the counter for everyday use. Seems to last a while. Oh, I just want to give one shout out here because we're getting, wow, we've only got like 13 minutes left. If you want to have a chance, we're going to draw this in about 10 minutes. So put salty in the comments and you will possibly be the winner of the giveaway tonight, which is a whole box of Element. Okay, I just need to look at the next question here. Okay. How do you figure out if you're healing? Well, it's all about how you feel. There's been so many times when I've had a comment or someone sends me a message and they've said something along the lines of, I don't know if carnivore is working for me. I've only lost, a pound or 2 pounds or haven't lost any weight. But then they list off all these things. I'm sleeping better, and my joints feel really good, and my blood glucose is down, and they go, they list 5, 6 items of improvements, and they haven't quite counted that as feeling better. We get into this thing where we will feel better if we lose weight. But sometimes you've got to feel better on these other things first for the weight loss to come, because your body can only work on. I'm not a doctor or a scientist or anything. There's other people out there like Dr. Ben Bickman, Dr. Norowitz, Dr. Ekberg, Dr. Barry. There's so many other doctors out there who can explain these things in a scientific way. I can only explain them in an anecdotal way of experience and what I observe in people that I have come into contact with. And I can tell you that this is very common, and that we, our bodies have this magical way of healing. And I know it's not magical, it's scientific, but our bodies can heal amazing things. Like me canceling my knee surgery, to me, is an amazing thing. I mean, there's a perfect example. I know that it's working and that I'm healing because I was able to cancel my knee surgery. I mean, I have bone on bone arthritis, and I had 7, 8 out of 10 for pain. They were going to do a cortisol, oh, no, what is that? Cortisone shot, and that scared me. I didn't want to do it. Sardines are way better than a cortisone shot, I think. So, yeah, the fact that now, there's days when I have zero pain. So that is how it's just how you feel is how you know, or how you figure out if you're healing. And also these other things, these other markers, like your blood glucose going down or sleeping better at night, that kind of thing. Okay. Vikings 9401. Are you doing intermittent fasting while on the lion diet? I am, but not. There's no intention behind it. I tend to prefer 2 meals a day, and so I will have that first meal maybe somewhere between 9 and 10:30 or 11 in the morning, and then I'll have my last meal. I try to have it by 4:30 my time. Now, obviously, on live stream night, I don't. I have my meal a little bit later, so I'll be eating my dinner meal after this live stream is over. And so that's really the only day of the week, when I don't have that short eating window. But I try to keep my 2 meals in there. It just sort of works out better for me time wise as well. Oh, Jason has done it again. He spun the wheel of membership and given away a membership to Ketogenic Woman. So, whoever that is, let me see. One of these days, you'll make another Zoom meeting. That's awesome. Thank you, Jason. You are so generous. I don't know who that lucky member is yet. The name hasn't popped up, but whoever you are, if you know who you are, come, check in the membership tab to find out when the Zoom meetings are. And I think Jason, we talked about me coming on to your live stream on a Thursday night. So let me know what date you want to do that. We thank you for having this channel. You are so welcome. Okay, so I think what we're going to do now, we have a little break in questions. I might be able to take a couple more questions, but let's do the draw for this. Type in salty really fast if you haven't done it already. Here we are. We're about to do the draw. That's a lot. Who's it going to be? Okay, Laura Halliday is the winner. And this will be mailed to you this week. But what I need you to do is to send me an email first. My email is ketogenicwoman@gmail.com. Send that and send me an email to that address with your complete contact information. And this will go to the post office and come your way. So thank you guys for entering the draw. And, it's a lot of fun to do this. And I'm going to pop over to the live chat right now because there hasn't been any new questions. But let's take a look to see who is here. And if we have, what do we have? Who is visiting us here? Okay. Debbie says, thanks. I got back on track just over a year ago and have been losing steady but very slowly. And that's a good thing. Losing slowly is a really good thing. Thank you for being here. It is making a big difference for me in my journey. Oh, that's awesome, Debbie. Thank you. Jason is a cool dude. Yes, Ivy, I totally agree with you. Thank you for saying that. And here is our new member, Steph. Steph Wessel was gifted a membership by Just Jason Keto. So welcome, Steph. I recognize your name. You have been a longtime follower and commenter, so thank you very much. And if you can make it to some of our Zooms, it would be fun to meet you. Christina, what is a good product for hydration? Well, I would say any of the electrolyte drinks. Right now, I'm doing the raw only element. I'm not having any flavors or sweeteners, but you can also make your own. There's different ways to make your own. I even have one to make your own on my website. You can also drink more water. Water is always the best thing for hydration. I'm trying to drink more water now that I'm online and I'm not drinking coffee. It certainly leaves me room for drinking more water. So that's kind of cool. Let's see what else I can find here. Okay. Oh, I better go back to the questions. I think another one popped in. Oh, D. Marie, Northern Minnesota here, my first live. Well, welcome. I'm glad that you made it to my live with this being your first. That's awesome. Nice to have you here. Are you doing electrolytes on the Lion Diet? Yeah, I'm doing raw element, so it only contains the sodium, potassium, and magnesium. There's no flavors, no stevia. I'm not even drinking like flavored seltzer water. I'm doing nothing like that at all. I'm plain water and beef and salt and lamb is basically what I've eaten all this week. I might get some bison in there if I can possibly do that. But yeah, that's it. Christy, how long can you keep bones in the freezer for bone broth? Mine have been in there for over a year. Well, I like to live dangerously, and so I often will use things in my freezer that have been there for a year. I have learned now to put dates on them, and I am trying now to use things up within a year. What I have found that is helpful for me, I have one of those machines, the vacuum sealers, and that makes your meat and your bones and whatever else you fancy to put into your freezer, they last a heck of a lot longer. What I don't like is if I open up something and it's covered in like thick layers of snow and frost, and I tend to get rid of that then, or if it looks discolored in any way. Yeah, it's up to you. I don't know if there's personally any danger in it, and hopefully somebody knows and will maybe warn you not to listen to me, because yeah, if it's been less than a year, or maybe if it's over a year and it still looks and smells okay, I'd probably use it. But yeah, I was just brought up that way. We used everything, nothing got thrown out. So, but thanks for the question. Okay. Oh, Benjamin, thank you so much. How long was it before you felt good? 125 days Lion, and you're dealing with histamine. Oh, histamine is another issue altogether. Sleep is blah, brain is blah, energy up and down. Well, that could all be related to your histamine reactions, and I guess you'll need to find a way to have only the freshest meat that you can, and not to like slow cook things or use things that have been in the freezer for a long time like I do. Yeah, it probably, like I'm feeling good now, and I'm only in 7 days. You're 125 days. I would have liked to have thought that you are, that you're over that hump. So that seems like a long time for you to not be feeling good. So I think, dig deep into the histamine issues and find out if there's anything. Oh, 25 days. Okay. So you're still within the 30 days. The other thing is, I had an interview with Dr. Kelly a couple of weeks ago, and she talked a lot about, your circadian rhythm and things like that. So those, if that can help your sleep, that might help you feel more energy too, if it's not related to histamine. So if you could look at, watch that interview or look into Dr. Kelly, go check her out. She's on Instagram as well as YouTube. I think you'll find she offers some really good information about sunshine as being the missing nutrient that many of us don't even know that we're missing. She treats it like a nutrient, and I think if you can get some grounding and some morning light, and that might help your sleep. So thank you for asking the question. Thank you for the super chat as well. So we are at the end of the hour, and so that was the last question. Thank you very much for all your questions. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate you guys so much. This is, I just really enjoy interacting with you guys like this. I appreciate you watching my videos and then also coming here to chat with each other and support each other, and to just take advantage of some of the resources. So thanks again, everybody. Have a great rest of your weekend, what's left of it, and we'll see you guys next time. Next week, we're going to talk about fat adaptation. How long does that take? What does it look like? How do you know? All that kind of stuff. So good night, everybody. Love you all. See you next time.